Travel. It can be extremely enjoyable, and we want to make it safe. Unfortunately, sometimes it can be miserable, and sometimes bad things happen. One of the ways that we can make it more safe, more enjoyable, is by planning our travel, planning our trips, both for enjoyment and safety. That's what we're going to talk a little bit about today with Coffee with Alain. I have a University of Pennsylvania mug here this morning, one that I got from my daughter since she's going there. And you'll see on the mug, there's all sorts of cool stuff. And we've seen most of these things. One of the reasons is when we visited Philly to check my daughter into the dorm the first time, to go to family weekend the second time, we planned things that we wanted to see. You can't see everything. You can't do everything on trips that you take. So you need to prioritize what are the more important things that you want to do and see. And we want to do that in advance, because sometimes if you don't buy advance tickets or schedule this or that, you're not going to be able to. So that's why it's important to do some planning beforehand to make sure that you have the most enjoyable trip possible. Whether that's going to an amusement park, a foreign country, a city, it doesn't matter. Purchasing tickets, purchasing different things that you need, reservations in advance is going to ensure that you enjoy the things that you want to enjoy the most. If you blow it off and wait too long, you might not get it. And a whole bunch of people right now are worried that they are not going to be able to take their summer vacations outside of the United States because the passport division is so backed up. It's taking over 3 months right now. Average is 13 weeks, sometimes longer, to get a passport. So if you wanted to travel in June or July outside of the country and you don't have a passport, you're not going. Because even the expedited paying extra passports are taking 9 weeks or more on average. Thing I saw earlier this morning. So there are a lot of people that right now are worried about their summer overseas plans because they don't have their passport yet. That's why doing things in advance, doing it early, can minimize that anxiety and fear, that you're not going to be able to do what you want. Going to say good morning to Jay. Appreciate you being here. And Jay talks about planning. Exactly. It is so important. And you want to plan and prioritize. And plan for some time in your schedule that you will just do whatever might come up. You don't want your plan to be so rigid on a timetable every second of your vacation. No. But if there are things that are important to you, we prioritize those and make sure we get tickets and reservations and plan that we can fit those in and when we're going to fit them in. And then have our relaxing periods and time or days that we're going to just do whatever, because cool things come up when we're traveling, right? That we didn't even know about that we want to do. So we want to schedule in some of that flexible time. But we just want to ensure that we have the time and reservations and tickets and things to see those things that are priority that we really want to do. And that sometimes takes a little bit of research. With the internet, it's really easy. You can Google just about any city in the world or any place you want to go and highlights, and you can get lists and different things of stuff in the area. You can Google restaurants and you can find the cool restaurants. If you know people, or you might get recommendations from people that lived there before or friends and family. So there are a lot of ways to research the fun things that you want to do. I mean, right now we're getting ready to go to Disneyland in California. We've been there before, but on this trip, we have scheduled and we've prioritized some things that we had never done at Disneyland before. One of which is to see Walt Disney's apartment. Now, if you want to see Walt Disney's apartment, you need to schedule and purchase your tickets because it's an extra fee on the tour to get into that apartment. You got to do so early because they do fill up and then you don't get that chance. We are researching the restaurants and looking at the menus. So when we're at the park, we might know sort of where we want to go to eat instead of trying to figure it out in the park. So we'll have a good idea of the different meals and places we want to eat. Certain places you need to get reservations in advance. When we were at Disney World last year, Beauty and the Beast restaurant, you need reservations in advance or you're not getting in. And so we had those reservations. When we were at Philly and we went and had dinner at the big ship, Modushu, I forget the name of it, really nice restaurant in Philly. Reservations in advance if you want to get in most nights, especially on busy weekends like we were there. So plan those kind of things. Dixon says, why go if not to have fun? Exactly. We want to have fun. And I just think planning makes things more enjoyable. Now, I have been on a plane heading off to a foreign country when I was younger, traveling alone, and not really knowing what I was going to do on each day. But with like when I went to Thailand, a general idea. I knew I wanted to go see where Muay Thai fighters fought. I knew I wanted to see the fights in Bangkok. I knew I wanted to go to the bridge over River Kwai, and I knew I wanted to go up north and ride the elephants up by Chiang Mai. But other than that, I wasn't 100% sure on what day and just how I was going to do it. But I had back then we didn't have internet. It was in the 90s. I had my travel guide, and on the plane, I'm doing some planning. And then I did some planning along the trip, and I was really flexible because I was alone and just experiencing, and I had a few weeks, so I had lots of time. But I still had those general things that I wanted to do. So Eric says, happy Friday Eve. Thank you, Eric. Happy Friday Eve to you. And along with the planning, to do all those fun things, make sure you plan a little bit of safety in there. What are you taking along that's going to help you keep safe? If you're traveling in a foreign country and you're used to carrying a certain weapon or personal defense item in America, is it legal to carry there? How are you going to get it on the plane? Make sure that what you're doing isn't going to get you in trouble. Okay. And there are some defensive weapons that are easier to carry anywhere, and there are others that are going to be more restricted. Make sure you know the laws and restrictions. Don't get yourself in trouble. But it is prudent to have something to protect yourself with. Have an alarm, especially if you're traveling in places where maybe the door locks and windows aren't as secure, like some of the places I stayed when I was younger in Thailand and so forth. If you're traveling in those kind of places, you can buy inexpensive alarms that can go on your door and windows to alert you if somebody tries to come in, so you're not caught sleeping. Research the hotels or Airbnbs where you're staying. Research the neighborhoods. Make sure you're staying at a safe place. Now, often the safer places are going to cost a little bit more. And that's, what you're going to have to decide. Personally, I'm going to spend the money to keep myself and my family safe rather than stay at some of the really inexpensive places that I might have stayed when I was younger traveling alone. When I was young, excellent shape, martial artist, weapons on me, I wasn't as concerned about where I was staying as I am when I'm with my family. Okay, so you need to make those decisions, and a little research will help you find the safer areas, safer locations to stay, and that will just make your entire trip more enjoyable. Eric says, I'm heading to Florida next week with zero plans but to relax on the beach. And that is fine. Do you know what beach you're going to? So that was a plan. Did you buy your tickets? So you did some planning. But if all you want to do is relax on the beach, that's your plan. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So whenever you're traveling, make the plans to what you're going to enjoy. I personally could not just stay on a beach and enjoy it. It's not me. I have to be seeing sights and new things, and that's just my personality. And sometimes it drives my wife nuts because my daughter and I are sort of the same. We're go, 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 go. And my wife sometimes are like, we need some relaxed time too. And so we got to compromise and do some of both. But if that's your plan, Eric. And Dixon says with pizza. Yeah, Eric will probably have pizza somewhere in there. And he probably knows the good pizza joints in the area that he's going to. I bet you he does a little bit of research on that. But the bottom line is a little bit of planning can make sure that you enjoy your trip, that you get to go on it. If you didn't plan ahead and get your passport, and like I said, they're terribly behind right now. I mean, they're authorizing overtime and working, and they increased their budgets, and they're still behind. And the amount of applications they're getting daily is making the length of time expand. So that 13 weeks isn't getting shorter right now. It could be 14, 15, 16 weeks or more because of the applications they're receiving. So prior planning is going to help you with that. Planning can help you find a safer place to stay. Planning can find the great places to eat. And not every meal, because sometimes when you get there, you're going to ask the hotel clerk, you're going to ask the concierge, you're going to ask the Uber driver, where's a good place to eat? Where's a good place to go? And those local people are going to tell you some cool stuff too. That's why you have to have that flexibility planned in to sort of go with the flow. But that's just a little general advice on planning travel this summer so you can enjoy it and stay safe while you're doing it. I will see you tomorrow. Have a terrific Thursday.